Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to discuss about vector space. So the first question is, what is vector space? So a vector space, or we can say a linear space, is a collection of vectors that can be added together and multiplied by scalars while still remaining within the same space. So for better understanding, we can understand vector space as V over a field F is a set of elements, or we can say vectors, with two operations. First is vector addition. Let's say we have two vectors V and W, their addition, and scalar multiplication, where C is a scalar from F. So these operations must satisfy certain axioms, or we can say rules, for vector V to be considered a vector space. So axiom in vector space, for a set V to be a vector space, it must satisfy the following axioms. So the first one is closure under addition. So if V and W belongs to V, set V, then V plus W will also belong to the set V. Next is closure under scalar multiplication. So let's say if V belongs to set V and C belongs to F, then their scalar multiplication will belong to the set V. Then there are four addition properties. Associativity of addition, that is simply the association rule that we just learned in mathematics and Boolean algebra also. It is like U plus V plus W will be equal to U plus V plus W in brackets. Next is commutativity of addition. V plus W is equals to W plus V. Then is existence of an additivity identity, or we can say zero vector. So there exists zero such that it belongs to set V and V plus 0 is equals V for all the V's that belongs to the set V. Here I think that V as a vector and V as a set might be confusing, so you can just understand it in more basic way, like x plus 0 will be equal to the set V, like that way. You can use any variable of your choice. Next comes up existence of additive inverse. For every small v that belongs to the set V, there exists a negative of it that also belongs to the same set, such that addition of both of these is equal to 0. Next is scalar multiplication properties. The first one is associativity of scalar multiplication. It is so simple, like A brackets BV is equals to brackets AB then V for all A and V that belongs to F and small v that belongs to the set of V. Then last axiom is distributive of scalar multiplication over vector addition. So it is just simply the distributive law. If we have C bracket the V plus W, it will be equal to CV plus CW. Similarly, if you take it with A plus BV, it will be equals to AV plus BV. If all these conditions hold, then V is a vector space. Now let's move on to the examples of vector spaces. The first example is set of all n-dimensional vectors R to the power n. So the space of all n-dimensional vectors Rn is a vector space because vector addition and scalar multiplication satisfies the axioms. For example, a 2D vector R square. So there is V1 and W having the following values, and on adding these, you will get a vector space of them following the additive axiom. The next example is of polynomial spaces. So the set of all polynomials of degree less than equal to n, denoted as Pnx, is a vector space because polynomials satisfy the vector space axioms. So the set of polynomials in this particular manner forms a vector space. Now you know what vector spaces are. Let's move on to subspaces of vector space. So a subspace is a subset of a vector space that is also a vector space under the same operations. So how we can check if a set is a subspace or not? So a subset W of V is a subspace if it contains a zero vector, it is closed under addition, that means V and W belongs to W, and this implies V plus W belongs to W, and it is closed under scalar multiplication, that is CV belongs to W for any scalar C. An example is like the null space. The null space, or you can say kernel, of a matrix A is subset of all the solutions to AX equals 0. So it forms a subspace. Now the next terms are bases and dimensions of a vector space. So a basis of a vector space is a set of linearly independent vectors that span the space. For example, the standard basis of R3 is E1, E2 and E3. And as you can just note down that for E1, row 1 is having the value 1, rest are 0. For E2, similarly, row 2, and for E3, row 3. Next term is dimension. So the dimension of a vector space is the number of vectors in its basis. Suppose R2 is our vector space, so the dimension is 2. R3, then the dimension is 3. The set of polynomials of degree less than equal to 2 has a dimension of 3. Now, we will talk about applications of vector spaces in data science, machine learning and AI. So, the first application is in feature spaces in machine learning. So, data points are often represented as vectors in high-dimensional feature spaces. So, support vector machines classify data using these vector spaces. Next is PCA, our principal component analysis. I think it is common in all the mathematical foundational terms that you will study for data science, for machine learning or AI. So, PCA reduces dimensionality by transforming data into lower dimensional vector space while preserving the most important features. Third application is in neural networks. Input data and weight matrices are element of a vector space. So, optimization algorithms work in vector spaces to update model parameters. Lastly, you can find applications of vector spaces in word embeddings in NLP. So, technique likes you have word2vec or GloveV. What they do, they map words to vector spaces where similar words are closer. So, vector spaces are the fundamental building blocks of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data science. They help us represent and manipulate data efficiently, enabling techniques like PCA, SVMs, neural networks, and natural language processing. So this was an introduction to vector spaces. In the next video, we will look at rank of a matrix. And till then, keep practicing. See you in the next one. Happy learning.